activate the centrifugal coils. Oh, I love your background.
Yes.
You know, when the Ukrainian stuff kicked in, the COVID stuff, it was literally the same mechanism. The same military grade AIs pointed by NATO at populist uprisings as when people
Yeah.
want to vote for who they want to vote for. They
Yeah.
were using that stuff for the international coordination of virology.
Right. Well, they
and then
realized.
and then it switched over to I remember the week it switched over to Ukraine. It was absolutely it was just like, "Wait, what?" Like that, you nerds. You nerds.
Yeah, this
I love that background, dude.
is two push button over here. Yeah, well, they figured out that they could use these tools and it was less expensive than actually like
You know,
back
they only hack a
super
certain
packing
number.
candidates in other countries and then actually
Yeah.
them to
Yeah.
whatever acts everybody post haste
Yeah,
win.
he makes sense to me. Well, the Pepsi and like Coke and all those, corporate entrepreneurs in the it was like the 50s and the 60s. They did these studies, and I heard about it in the 90s, but if you show people jingles or like sonic jingles, viral jingles, or
Mm.
symbols like a big red circle, like bam, it's like Coca-Cola, it's like um,
Oh, stop.
sales go up. Sales go up based on how many people you show it to, but it doesn't matter if you show it to the people who buy it. What that means is that the human organism of consciousness, you can just go over here and corner a bunch of humans and show them the image,
Scare
and
'em. Yeah.
it'll affect the other ones.
Yeah.
The other ones will buy more Coke, even though there's not Coke available in their part of the world. You can go buy eyeballs cheaper, and you ever heard of like villages where they'll pray for you? You can like hire a village to pray for you at a certain date and time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I believe it. I haven't seen that marketplace, no.
No, I also have not seen the marketplace. I've heard of it. I think it's kind of cool if it
That's cool.
exists.
I mean, I've seen like the it's very easy to do like cameo type stuff. You have people in other people in other there's like you can hire African guys to sing your wife a song or whatever. Custom made just for her, like a whole like tribe.
A whole tribe. That's
Well,
crazy.
just like, a stat like 15 plus,
Right, right, right. There's
Yeah.
certain services where famous people can like for $6, they'll like record your answering machine message and shit. Have you seen those ones?
Right,
Those?
yeah, this is like Cameo. The
Cameo.
cameos.
Right, 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 right.
That's the cameo business
That's
model.
insanity.
Yeah.
It's hilarious to go in there and see people who are you love their work like in some way, like you love them in a movie or like
Right.
they're
Yeah.
a big deal, and then they're just like, wait, they're accessible for $3.95? What?
Yeah.
It's
Cameo's
like,
biggest
or whatever the number is.
biggest creator
It's a number.
is
There
a
shouldn't be a
comedian.
number next to that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a comedian named William Montgomery. He's a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Tennessee guy. He's like got fiery red hair and he like yells anyway. Evidently he's
Sure.
like their top creator. He makes a
Top
ton of
creator.
money on Cameo.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Someone's in the long, and everyone else is in the long tail.
Yeah, man, exactly. It's like yeah, he's like the hottest girl on OnlyFans.
Yeah, no, he makes sense to me.
Except for being funny and sending messages to other people.
So I broke on through to the other side when you're talking about the NATO-based, allegedly, so allegedly,
Allegedly.
allegedly, it's all secondhand sources. Yeah, but when you look at the NATO weaponization of scan and delete, weapons of mass deletion, AI, they create the weapons. Natural language processing was created as a weapon, according to Mike Benz, and it was created as a weapon so that you could hover all social media and then classify it based on a narrative, and then delegitimize it based on pressure. And then the Twitter files exposed all of that, the process by which that happened.
Yeah,
But what
this
it
is like a
means,
fairly basic big data like problem to solve. It's like we
yeah,
don't like to see certain things. We would like to be able to lasso certain things and promote them and demote other things. And then yeah,
we want
once
to
we can
control
mass
what people
delete, that's
see
even
and hear.
That's a third tool.
They
Yeah.
think they're in a marketplace of ideas, and we want to put our hands on the scales like crazy. And then that anybody goes election interference. It's like, Do you know what an algorithm is? Do you know that these algorithms are used to sway elections a lot?
Yeah.
Like measurably, demonstrably, that guy Robert Epstein had the numbers on it. It could show which elections were probably swayed based on the observations he was making, and it was just from a certain set of companies, not all of it. But it was Mike Benz. Okay, Mike Benz does a great if to land back at his front doorstep.
Yeah.
It's what is that nonprofit that he had? It was the
mm,
freedom of freedom, freedom. It's freedom. It's the Foundation for Freedom Online. If you're going to be online, you want to be free. So it's the Foundation for Freedom Online. That's Mike Benz's single little nonprofit there. And he writes these reports, which are crazy. Like you're like reading like a CIA, like this person's connected to this network. This person's connected to this network. He has done more to um, publicize the network of what would rather be remain hidden of fucking tons of cash that has flown out of the American coffers. But before COVID, we were spending 4.5 trillion a year. Now we're spending 6.5. It's stuff like this that you could cut easy peasy.
right. It's like
Just
this
go. You're not allowed to jankify human minds in America.
yeah.
Also, when you do it with other people, I don't know, maybe you stop, or at least
yeah.
oversight. You
Yeah, at
animals.
least a more oversight. You need to be
Well,
publishing the downstream effects of what you're doing. Because it is like a Sith in the night, you know? It's like
yeah.
like n- no like the number of people that have
Hmm.
eyeballs on the tool set has got
Yeah.
to be like so small, honestly,
Well,
because
at the
these are
controls,
sophisticated, yeah, or
it's
just
billions of
dashboard
dollars, and
oversight.
there's
Yeah,
there's
but that's the
entire
thing. It does not take, with the amount of compute and the amount of
yeah,
expense that it costs to build these things. Yeah,
yeah,
it takes a decent amount of people to get them going
sure,
and
sure,
whatnot to develop and do the innovations. But
right.
once you got a dashboard, it doesn't take too many people to govern it. You know,
No, no, I'm
well,
with
I
you.
mean, or to
But yet
manage
this
it.
thing
But
grows every year, and now there's majors in Mike Benz was saying there's majors in like 60 colleges globally, which are essentially censor. That's like the technology of censor. You're either on the quant side or you're on the political what should be censored like side. The censorship is always in service of propaganda, which is an acknowledged thing that it does. It's just we should limit our we are propaganda. A certain segment of our government is using military grade cybernetic capabilities to propagandize its own population, and it
it's
legally
like
got the chance
literally
to do
like
so after the
cancer.
Brown Act or whatever in 2013. They used to not be able to do it, but the CIA has always had a workaround, and now it's on the streets. They explore it in this documentary, Line in the Sand. They talk about the Department of Homeland Security. That the CIA funnels the money through the Department of Homeland Security. Department of Homeland Security has these multi-million, $50 million, $60 million contracts for these van services that pick people up and drive them all over the United States. Um, we it's James O'Keefe goes undercover with a bunch of his friends and rides the beast, a train out of the central Mexico up through the border and shows just how insanely easy it is for a migrant to come in. And in the process, it's funny because they run into people in, I think it was a Chinese community, who were like, "Hey man, why are you here, man?" And the Chinese
Yeah,
guy
they
was like,
recognize him.
they go, "Oh, you asked us to come. We came when you said to." And they were like, "What do you mean?" And they were like, "Well, your president said that we should come, and so that's why we did, because your president said it." And he goes, "Where? When? What do you?" He goes, "On YouTube." And he pulls it up and shows the video. And then they cut to the video, and sure enough, I remember when he said it. There's Joe Biden going, "They should surge the border." And I'm like, "This is what happens when you let the meat puppet run amok, or
yeah.
like
When the meat puppet doesn't have
this
enough
is how you're
brains on
making policy.
himself.
This is how you're making
Yeah.
policy. This is how you're communicating to a lot of people what your ideas are and what they should do based on your ideas.
Shit.
anyway, anyway,
They're like, we wanted
um,
to come, but Sleepy Joe invited us, bro. And it
you
seems
and
to
then
be
the
working out.
yeah, no joke, no joke. Well, the
uh,
the yeah,
yeah.
it's insane. It's insane how they follow the money on the Line in the Sand documentary because it's all Department of Homeland Security stuff, and that's what Mike Webb is talking about too. That it's the
Mike
DHS
Pence.
pumping out money for the censorship industrial complex, and yeah, it's quite remarkable when you think that how governments go. That this would somehow be you're pouring this trillions into this, you'll get more of this. Anyway, I think I felt
Yeah.
our video get demonetized, even though we aren't even monetized last week. But like the way it handled the video was like remarkably different, and I think it was because I was dropping the N word on here.
You
NATO.
dropped NATO.
Yeah,
We
totally.
had a good, possibly that. Yeah, we
It's
had a
because
good talk. Wait, no. Last week was I here last week or was it the week before? That's the week I got sick. The week I got sick, we
oh,
had a great talk
we had a very
in
good
the
talk.
first,
Yes.
like probably 15 minutes into the
Yeah.
next hour of that was good shit. Um,
So, James O'Keefe gets accused of being like a master editor or editing shenanigans. Anytime you bring up James O'Keefe, someone's like, "Oh, the way he edits his videos." Dude, when you watch this documentary, Line in the Sand, on the Tucker Carlson network, it you go through an experience with James O'Keefe. Then, in the last 10 minutes, he shows you how he did it. And you meet all his friends that made it possible. And it's a cast. And there's so many elements that you see in that original time period that you're like, that is a fact of life. And then you realize it's a set of choices that were made in the editing process. And that is exactly what we will be discussing this Thursday night at Deeper Into Movies when we look at Captive State, which is surveillance through the state and thought control. And we'll be looking at All Light Everywhere, which is about surveillance through cameras and how it's submittable in court, the Axion body cams, wire a pigeon up to a camera and throw it up through the trees and see what happens. It's 1805 or 1895. So nuts. But
man,
anyway, we're gonna get deep into that shit. But yeah,
cool.
it's quite remarkable. Quite frankly, he's a master, and I
James
love it.
O'Keefe. Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah.
He's got his 10,000 hours. He's like he's like he's not showing off, but he made a damn nice
But he
documentary.
can for sure. Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool. His documentary specifically. Cool. Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. I don't want to speak out of turn because I definitely think he does cool investigative journalism, but I don't.
yeah,
He's a contentious figure, but he would have to be if you're going
yeah.
after the people he goes after. It's great. Just
Totally.
thrilling.
The smear campaigns, the auto turrets, that the Iron Dome of information war, starts. He starts shooting at him.
Yeah.
It's like yeah. There's collateral, dude. I mean, you look at Alex Jones. That guy. How many times is he gonna get martyred in front of us? It's like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
that poor dude. The
Squeaky wheels get the grease.
Well, they tested it out on Alex, and it should be protected speech. Should be protected, and it should. If you're going to be collecting tax dollars, it should support the agreement that we all made with each other, that constituted our union,
Yeah,
and it
which
should
make
protect the
which
right
these
of
types of
Americans to.
tools and how they work
They should be
are
illegal as
little.
all get out.
Like we barely have enough visibility on them to know how they're being used over the
But
last
your
6
infographic is
years.
a perfect example, though. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like I lived through that. I
Oh
remember what
yeah.
that felt like to be in their fucking pipeline. That is no fun.
Yeah.
That is no
Not
fun.
fun. No,
No?
it's not fun. It's
Watch the effects it has on people.
well, it's coming straight out of the comments at you. It's not. It's
Oh, it's
it's like
blaring it on 11
subvert.
on every channel.
I
It's
know,
like
but it's like
synchronated, coordinated. Operation
yeah.
Mockingbird, like tuned.
Uh,
It's like Operation
anyway.
Mockingbird Social Media Edition. But uh, yeah, totally. Okay, so we got our ballots though in Colorado, and we're early voting, and it is going to take me hours to research all of the individual things. They've sent me a 90-page booklet and a 40-page supplemental, and you have to go through and read what this means and what that means. there's recommendations for judges, which are great. There's they have an independent board that you can rely on for those. But dude, all in, it's like 50, 60 questions. Like you have
Do
to
they
answer
like?
like
I feel like this is that's awesome. I'm glad they give
yeah,
you that much material all in one place, and it's like everyone gets it.
totally. You just have to read
That's
it.
nice. So yeah, you just
Yeah.
have to read. I wonder like that's the thing. I would be like, I'm always
There's a
interested
tax.
when when it comes to governance,
Yes.
we all should contribute. There are certain
Yeah.
times when it's more important to contribute than others. The
Yeah.
subject matter changes, so we have to be able to keep people up to date. If we are
Right.
going to ask me to make a decision on something, I want the materials to make the decision, but I also want you to have scoped that the amount of time it should take to go review those materials and make a decision. I think it's two-part: materials and an assessment of weight that you're putting on other people to do the review. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but like, yeah, someone like, I mean, and obviously there'll be variable rates of speed. You know, some people are gonna
Sure.
do it faster than others. Some people just because people are smarter than others. But yeah, fucking whatever you guys consider median or average, intelligent in your state, let's figure out how long it would take that person to do this review and make this decision. Um,
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
and give us that estimate, because then I know how. Although you could scan that all that shit, put it in Notebook LM,
And get it
and
to
ask
research
all,
it for you.
yeah, and get it, do it. Just ask all
What's
your
their
fucking
stance on this
nasty little
particular issue?
subjective questions. Doesn't have to be nasty, but
It would
all
be
your
so great if they
subjective.
had an LLM trained up like a a,
I know. I was
a
mentioning
Patriot
that to
bot,
some of the one of the guys
and it's
in
like talk to my
the
Patriot
Cardano
bot,
Foundation
and
guys
it's
the
like
other week.
the Patriot bot knows all of your positions and can just like spit out your whole
Right?
agenda.
If you could,
Like
yeah, if you could, that would be interesting.
they're trying to make
Because
it there's a lot of questions before the court though in terms of referendums, and one of them is mountain lions and lynxes. It's already illegal to shoot a lynx, but they're trying to make it illegal to shoot mountain lions. And I live in a place where mountain lions eat. When you leave dogs or cats outside, they call them groceries for the
yeah,
mountain lions because they
yeah,
don't last more than like a day or two.
right. They get pounced.
So
Yeah.
but and you can shoot them, and there's exceptions for shooting them when they're harming your pets or livestock or your family. But it's also like, why put any restrictions on shooting
These
these things that
predators.
can eat you?
Yeah.
It's gonna grab a 6-year-old, dude, and you're not gonna be like, this is awesome.
Yeah. Someone's gonna hesitate because of your law, and it's gonna eat you
Exactly, and they
alive.
should reach for the rocket launcher, and they'll reach for
Yeah.
the stick, and that won't be
Yeah.
enough, and people are gonna die.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Yeah.
like you want
And
rocket
you will have hurt
launchers.
the good people, not the bad
Yeah,
people in
yeah,
that
right. The
scenario.
innocent, the
Yeah.
slow, and the uncoordinated will be the first
Yeah.
to go. No, they say that especially in Colorado, it's bikers and people on jogging paths because the cats
Yeah,
will
I've
sit
seen
there on the
all
tree
sorts of
and be like,
videos
boom,
of,
like
yeah,
your
just
ground.
people jogging.
But it's
Fucking
extremely rare.
scary.
It's very rare. But
Yeah,
I still would love everyone to feel free to shoot them at will.
yeah, at will.
At
Now,
will.
will I be gung ho about? Will I be
I'm not gonna go
trying
looking
to?
for him.
Yeah, exactly. If I if I hear about someone trying to
But I
hunt
mean,
all the
when it
mountain
takes your
lion
second
out
or
of an
third kid,
area, yeah.
you want to go get it.
If it's your third mountain lion, then I'm like, maybe you should not seek out mountain lions. What are you doing differently, dude?
Yeah, totally. I still think we should have private military contractors with GoFundMe's, and then you could just be like, hey, can you guys run a week on mountain lions in my zip code? Like, please?
I know.
And then you just
Democratize that, so you don't
buy
have to have
buy
some
them bullets.
sophisticated nonprofit that
Yeah, just
in a series
deploy.
of them to be
We
able
deploy
to do
lethal
that.
force in these here hills.
Yeah.
That'd be
That's
good.
interesting. Yeah, democratize collective
Access.
violence access.
Totally,
Access
totally.
to
Access to collective. Okay, when you're talking about violence, though, you're talking about specifically to solve problems. And when the reason why these things are shot is because they attack and kill livestock, which is money. So it's that. it's got to be you got it. That'll happen, especially when you gather a lot of animals together in one place.
Protection of property. This is intellectual property. Not
Right.
intellectual, but it's literally property law. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Can't say
and if
no to
someone wants
that.
to get vigilante justice on some mountain lion that's like taking out toddlers, I'm all in.
Oh yeah. Same with pedophiles, you know?
You know, it's a controversial subject, but I think it'd be hilarious.
Yeah. I don't think it's that controversial. I think
I don't think
it's
it's that
the
controversial
it's the
either.
people have it's the people who have who's had too much of a silver spoon in their life. They're like, "Oh, we got to be nice to everybody, even the bad people." And you're like, "You haven't really met many bad,
Bad
horrible
people.
people, have you?"
There's a lot of,
Like,
and it
there's
seems
a
like the
whole
culture.
subset of the population who is going to do, it leans bad. And it's not the majority. You're right.
No,
But they're
no,
the exception shouldn't be the rule, but we can't ignore the exception.
no. You got to take the it all. You see the whole thing at once.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, it anyway, it's wild to have been an experiment in this targeted AI's crosshairs, like just as an American watching it like manipulate our media and like all this other stuff. I mean, it's a coordinated. Um, you could have mentioned any one word or phrase, and then it will auto do it. And I gotta say, it was kind of creepy. I was in YouTube Creator Studio the other day. I never go in there, and I went in there and I was like, oh, I could pay a tax, and like if I basically put an ankle bracelet on for 3 months, and if I don't do the thing they don't want me to do for 3 months, and I pass all the tests they give me, because I'm a good inmate, they'll
Mhm.
take off the ankle bracelet and I'm free.
What's
Uh,
the point of what's the benefit of you succumbing to this ankle bracelet for 3 months then?
they wipe out my
For the
warning.
bennies.
When
Oh.
I got a warning on broadcasting or copyrighted material live, and they were like, "Oh, you are going to jail, sir." And I was like, "Oh no." So
You
anyway,
could
I'm
plan
serving
for
time.
that.
I'm serving time now, but
Oh, you're
it's all
already
good.
in. Nice.
I'm in. I've been in for like
Okay.
a month and a half. I'm like
So
halfway
it's
through my
specific
my
to.
bit.
Oh, good. Okay. Glad you're not worrying about it too much. I guess
It's not. It crossed my mind only in this conversation for one specific reason I haven't gotten to, but please continue.
yeah, I was gonna say because like totally, we don't really play any videos, and
I know.
the music you do use is AI generated these days, so we got plenty of outs and other things
Well,
to use.
that's the reason why I want to make the push on computational yogurt. I feel like once I have that album in place, that can serve as like music for dancing and music for other things, and I own all the rights to that. And so that'll like break the bounds of freedom. You could say anything you want anywhere you want. Go ahead and say it out loud. Say it. I'm nice
Do
and
it to
proud.
music,
Do
yeah.
it to music exactly.
Yeah.
But Google offered to enroll me in their censorship program, where if anybody leaves comments on our YouTube video and it includes certain words, then we can ban just everything they do, and they get put on a list. It's like snitches get riches. Like,
Mm. So we can work
yeah,
for the algorithm to do censorship,
yeah.
by
It's like
flagging
it's like
accounts.
DIY censorship. It's so
That seems.
helpful.
Is that really needed though? Do they need us for that?
Oh, I
It seems
guess
like
so. If
they
you're
don't need us
somehow
for
somehow
that.
there's insanity in these comments that must be
Well, I've learned that
beaten back.
that companies will give opportunities to their users not because they're good for their users, but because they
Yeah,
keep
totally.
them distracted or good. It's good for them. Um,
Or you're working for them.
or you're working
Like
for them.
digital
Exactly.
serfdom.
Yep.
Totally.
Digital serfdom. It's a
Activate.
weird one with
Yeah.
I yeah. Project Catalyst is a great opportunity, especially if you're in a third world country, to go
Nice.
work for that innovation fund,
Yeah.
because it doesn't quite pay enough to be
Right.
super valuable if you're making more than, I don't know, 20 30 bucks, 25 30 bucks, 25 bucks an hour probably,
Yeah.
but uh
That's a lot in some places.
it's a lot in some places, yeah.
And those people are very
Yeah.
creative and resourceful, just like people everywhere are.
Yeah, and that might be a little low. It might be closer to $30 an hour. I would
Nice.
say just on average with like how much time I've put into it.
You make
work
sense to
I've
me.
done.
Totally.
Yeah, but
Well,
then again, it's not consistent work either. So yeah, it's like
yeah.
freelance $30 an hour work. Best day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Best day. Exactly. It's like you're in an Uber in a place where nobody wants to get picked up.
Yeah. Pretty much. Uh, yeah, but no, there's opportunity to go work in Project Catalyst right now.
Yeah.
Their community
Oh,
review
right on.
phase is gonna pop up here in 2 or 3 weeks. Oh, I think I have that graphic. Maybe I can pull it up. But
Nice, nice.
uh, yeah, that's. Oh
Well,
yeah, there's 1,700 or between 1,700 and 2,000 proposals that need 3 reviews apiece. So, um,
nice.
you
So
can
you
sign
can
up
be a
for
part of
that and
be
be
part
a
of the
part of
review
that.
army.
The review army, and there's 2 tiers of reviewers, and if you've never done it before, you don't have to worry about the second tier because you're a baby. And yeah, I think you have to do it for at least a season, a fund in tier 1, and get good enough scores by the other reviewers to make it to that
You
well
know people are just
category.
scraping those and dumping them into ChatGPT and be like summarize and
Oh
you
yeah,
know whoa,
they are. It's
boosh,
yeah, yep.
automate the
Totally. It's
intelligence.
interesting because they've done it before
Yeah,
that, and they've been
yeah.
doing it through. So it's like the bot armies that try and figure out how to completely automate it. The bot armies that try and make bunches of proposals that are weird and or rip off a bunch of other people's proposals and just
Oh,
duplicate them.
oh shit. Oh, that's a
Uh-huh.
crazy. That's crazy. It's like open IP theft, like on the
Yeah,
blockchain.
yeah. Open IP theft on the open. Yeah, yep. This stuff isn't. This isn't on straight. This is on Idea Scale, which is a product that was
Yeah.
actually designed for the U.S. government to. I don't remember
Huh.
what it was designed for exactly, but it was to collect ideas and do this type of funding process or the
Nice.
proposing process.
Yeah.
And but they take all the data out of that engine and
Hmm.
pull it into a side chain that they spin up, and then they do all the voting on a side chain, and then they rectify that to Cardano main chain. Um, and it's interesting. Side chains on Cardano are feasible because they've done it in this. They have this chain that does it, but there's not many of them. There's not many side
Yeah.
chains just yet. And
Yeah.
the Jormungandr chain that does this voting is specific to that application, and yeah. Anyway, so it's not like a whole on-chain process like Polkadot's OpenGov process or like Cardano's SIP 1694 fully on-chain governance process, which currently we're in a period where we're in the interim period of that governance going online, so it has
Hmm.
there's limited powers. There's no treasury withdrawals for the first certain number of epochs, and so I think I think it's through the first of the year sometime
Hmm.
before it's even possible. We have to replace the constitutional committee and do a couple things in order for that to kick in, um, and it's interesting. They're they're been firming up a constitution this year and deciding how deciding all the parameters for delegate representatives and how that incentive structure works. Now they've been collected a lot of opinion on that, but overall the parameters have been chosen by a smaller group of more dedicated contributors who have been contributing for like 18 months. Um,
Nice.
so there's a
Nice.
core group that kind of iterates, and then they pass off those iterations for further, and we'll see how well that process continues. But I
Nice.
think that there's not enough people who vote
Yes.
to even make the current some of the parameters work. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting whether we
Nice.
have.
This is the weather
Uh,
report from Cardanosville.
Yep, weather
Cardanosville,
report
USA.
from let's just say beginning of Q4 2024.
Nice.
Yeah,
Excellent. Excellent.
yeah.
There was the hurricane that came through Florida. Did you see it went to category 1 by the time it hit?
I saw that. Was it category 1 or category 3? I thought it hit category 3.
Oh, it might have
What's
hit
the
3.
big one?
I remember checking really early on and it went to a 1. There was a lot of damage, but it
Yeah.
was not what they were
No,
predicting.
I've went through multiple hurricanes in Florida
Yeah.
that are like that. And yeah, it's like trees fall. Yeah, if you're in a bad spot with lots of debris that can be blown around, you probably need to board up your windows. Um,
Yeah.
so and obviously surge damage still. My dad,
Right.
in a Category 3 hurricane, had the roof ripped off his hospital. He was
Oh, Jesus.
actually there. We were like 8 miles
Wow.
inland. Our house was 8 miles inland, and he was right on the intercoastal, in on premises with like five other people in the building. It wasn't.
Yeah.
They had evacuated all the patients out pre to that and everything,
Hmm.
but it was what was that called? Which hospital was that? It's in Ormond Beach, south of just a bit south of Ormond, still in Ormond on the intercoastal
Nice. Nice.
side.
Trump came to Denver last week,
Oh
over
yeah.
the weekend. Yeah, he was speaking and he was talking. He was in Aurora, and he was talking intensely about his immigration plan.
Right.
And
Yeah.
he's repeated himself several times, but not with the vigor of which he delivered it in Aurora. And he was given props to Texas, who had Operation Aurora, and he was like, "We're gonna do this on the federal level," and like that was his. I think that was where he announced it, but
Mm.
it might have come out before then. But it was wild because I was down in town, going to this medical thing, and then I was dropping off some speakers for repair, and the speaker repair place, the official speaker repair place, was like deep in this what'd you call it, migrant community in Denver, right?
Okay.
And so I park my car and I like go inside and I talk to people. They're very sweet and they're gonna repair my thing. And then I'm driving out and none of the cars have license plates. And there's like this terrifying stillness, like which felt like terror. And I'm like, what's going on? And I realized, oh no, it's like Trump's giving like the anti-immigration speech, and this is the immigrant community I was like in the middle of, and people looking at me like I was crazy for being there.
Yeah. It's hard for me to notice
Right.
over the past couple years how much has happened. Like
Sure.
how many people have come in. I know the construction market has gotten tighter, but
Mm.
the biggest tell for me has been random crazy vehicles on the highway
Yeah, with no
that
license plate, and you're just like, wait,
pulling
what?
each other down the highway and shit like that. It's like, oh yeah, no, this is what I see in third world countries. But I've never seen this before,
Here.
2023. Yeah.
That's so funny. That's so great. Dude, I was watching. I can't remember where I was. I was in.
Like
Something
you
came
see
over
that
me.
shit on country roads and whatnot, but they stay out. People stay off the highways. These
Right
people
on the
don't know
highway.
where they are. You know.
Right. Well, I've just something switched inside of me, and I've been like trying to find more value on Twitter, and like through lists and through following the right people or whatever, following
Yeah, I
different
was
stuff.
like, I need to jostle this algo, and then I was like,
Right.
it's hard to do that sometimes. I
Grok
just
makes it
decided
easier.
to
Grok
do
makes
the
it a lot
X
easier.
Pro. Really? What does he do?
Yeah.
How's Grok? Because I figured out I have Grok.
You've
I
got
don't
Grok.
know.
Okay.
I've got Grok because
Great.
I pay for the premium, but I don't know if I pay for premium pro or whatever. So I thought there was a difference
Oh,
there, but maybe it's just they only let me use some of the beta models or something like that. I don't know what
interesting.
the best Grok model is.
Well, anyway,
Yeah, go ahead.
I found this crazy list, and it was awesome, and it was like a bunch of memes on it, and it had this one crazy channel on it, and this one crazy channel on it was like this. Imagine you're somewhere, South Africa.
Hmm.
You're everyone around you is drinking so intensely. There's like lasers, people have got like shining lights and stuff. There's a lot of dust being kicked up by the many trucks and cars that are doing donuts in front of you. I can't tell you how many of these videos I saw. More than I have fingers, right? And here's how they all go, because they record these videos for hours. Do you know the parts they put on fucking with this Twitter account? The parts where it's like, okay, I'm just gonna walk you through this. Imagine just like your mom's SUV, right? It's got like a bunch of windows in it. Now imagine those windows been taken out, and there's just a bunch of guys just hanging out sitting on the transom, sitting and with like hanging like halfway out the car, being like, woo, just like losing their minds, right?
Yeah.
And then like think of it. Okay, now, okay, you got that in your imagination.
Yeah.
Now there's 9 of them. There's 9 of them. There's a
9
lot of
cars.
them. Okay.
So like a
No,
fucking
9
derby.
guys. 9 guys.
Oh, in
sitting,
the-
nine
in
guys
the
sitting
SUV.
in this SUV. It's jam packed with lads just having a good time.
Hanging out.
You know.
Yeah.
Alcohol everywhere. Lasers pointing. Okay, this is all happening. The car rolls.
Fuck.
It's like, dude, did I just watch the first 2 frames of a snuff film?
Yeah, like he's like
It's
popping
like-
skulls and
Dude,
severing
there's
limbs.
there's no way to not get severed like in this
Yeah.
process. And I was like what the fuck?
I know.
Like it's so crazy.
It's crazy. I do respect Twitter's algorithm for like
Sure.
occasionally there'll be some crazy videos that pop up from. I don't like dive towards things that make me anxious, so I don't
Yeah,
feed that
totally.
part of the algorithm. But
Sure.
occasionally I'll find a video that's like that will.
This is
pop
just I
up
was
for
looking
me
at
that'll be
memes, man.
anxious.
I was looking at fun.
Yeah.
I was looking at dank memes. It was great.
Yeah.
I was good.
And
I started reposting a bunch of them.
yeah, that's good. I do appreciate like that. It does follow what you look at, because
Yeah.
I
Ted.
early on in like
Yeah.
Instagram and whatnot,
Uh-huh.
it would just like shove women at you, like where you could not get your
Booty?
feed clear.
Do you speak
Yeah.
booty?
Yeah, it's like maybe that was just my age back in the day
That's
shining through.
hilarious.
But I have been very
It, like,
thankful
profiles
that,
you.
especially Twitter, has always been like
Yeah, yeah.
fairly easy for me to keep a clean feed, a non-distracting feed from that stuff.
Sure.
I have appreciated
Oh.
that about Twitter.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Twitter. I agreed. I have my it's it makes it pretty easy to take control of the process.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, see now I've been.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you tell me whether this is the highest version of X Pro is interesting, because it will you can essentially have a bunch of different lists in here, and I haven't curated that, so no one look at that.
This is like the ticker. People who do stock trading have a it's not Reuters terminal. What's it terminal? Thompson's terminal. It's what's the name of that thing?
Is this the most updated version of Rock 2?
Which one is it? You can the long story short, you can ask it questions. Hey, what's going on in the world of Transformers? Whatever have you, and then it'll summarize all this information for you, and then you didn't have to read and it kind of expounds it a little bit. But anyway, I just want to say this point, and then we'll move on. But dude, if you're putting death through the wires, if you're putting like death through the wires, it's like human sacrifice, like for the electronic being. It's like life force. It's like so crazy.
Yeah.
Like you should be careful with that stuff.
And it's like people do flock to watch inflammatory shit. It's just true. Like, dude, I've met people who have.
Don't watch fights.
I've met people. Yeah, don't watch. Like, yeah, exactly. The stuff like
you get activated, like you're in the fight. It's like
the people that I've met who have tens to hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter are fairly argumentative, combative people.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
they want to get into it. They're gonna get into it and argue with people on the internet. And
Mm.
in order to do that's
Pretty
the only
fruitless.
way to do that, to grow those types of followings, is to chum
Yeah.
the water with your own fucking disgust and distaste.
Well, Ted Giglioli, he's a musicologist. He's always talking about the power of music to heal and stuff. It's good. He's got a great Substack I subscribe to. He had, I think I posted it in our signal. He had the karma method, which is basically you treat others as you would like to be treated. The golden
Mhm.
rule, basically applied on social media, and he had lots of examples of it. But he was a musicologist, but he had followed this principle, and he had sort of grown his audience. He's a great follow because he's always giving you something cool about his, which basically, because that's what's rewarded. His life has spent a lot of his life is spent exploring that kind of stuff, which is amazing to like to
Mhm.
get on
Yeah.
go on adventures with him in a certain way.
Right.
But it's all about music and music in different cultures and the healing effects of music. And he is like reviews a lot of albums and finds a lot of like new bands and stuff. It's good stuff.
Very cool.
Yes.
Very
But yeah,
cool.
Grok you can use to laser in on. You can ask it for images, and it uses the Flux engine, which is very open-ended. Um, so make me a photo of, and then you can just describe what you want, and then that's photorealistic. It's great. It can also scan huge areas. So everybody who's talking about this phrase or that phrase, you can just like go see all of it, and then like you can follow, or you can build a list, or you can, um, I don't know. There's
Yeah, see it. So it,
you
instead
waste
of
a lot
me
of time,
being
and I
like,
waste
let
a
me
lot of time in
jostle
Twitter.
my algorithm by unfollowing a bunch of people and doing that, I just need to be like, all right, what am I interested in right now?
You
And
can
use these
actually
other
ask it what's
tools.
going on right now, and it'll
Yeah.
it'll give you a summary of the whole world, and then it'll give you the tweets to go to, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff happening every day that you never hear about and no one ever cares about. Like you can like if the people who know about it are just news nerds who like it's I don't know, it's very small, vanishingly small numbers of people like care about distant events in that detail, but you
Right.
can access it.
Right.
Yeah.
Takes a lot to of context to understand diff distant events. Yeah.
Did you see the Starship 5 test?
That
The chopsticks catch?
the chopsticks catch. Yep. Yep. Did
That
see
was
that.
awesome.
That was
That was
awesome.
amazing.
It was very
Yeah.
cool. They have kind of flo- floats in and settles into some hooks, and
Yeah.
I wonder what's the purpose of that catch compared to just pogo stick landing it, on the ground.
They can apparently flip it faster that way. So they catch it like that, and then they can condition it for launch, and then pop another Starship on
That
it, and
makes
then
sense.
doosh. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's part of a system, a
They don't
launch
have to
vehicle system.
lift it up.
It's right where it needs to be. Just turn on the
Yeah.
engines again, and there it goes
Yeah.
away. Woo! It comes
Yeah.
back. Woo! Turn it
Yeah.
around. Yeah, it was on
Yeah.
fire when I caught it. I was like, dude, I hope it doesn't like explode like the world's biggest Roman candle.
Yeah.
It's like totally probably filled. Right, there's some there because if there's fires, you can't vent the fuel, right? So it's like there's some part of the fuel is in there. Hope
Right.
it.
Yeah.
But that was, dude. Do you remember the first one when it fucking tore up the ground and threw
Yeah, that
the
was my
boulders
thing. I
everywhere?
was like, it's got to be better for the tarmacs to not be
Yeah,
that close
that's
to
right.
the
That
ground,
force
right in the
isn't to the ground; it's to
yeah,
the air.
straight onto the ground. It's up in the air still.
33 Raptor engines. Like it's just like, and
The
everybody who
pictures
was
of
live
those
practicing it,
engines.
they're just like, oh, here it comes. Like,
Yeah.
they're gonna. I think they have to go 8 miles over the ocean's curve or 13 miles. I can't remember what it is. You have to go a certain distance in the ocean, and then when they set them off, that's where they'll actually launch them because that amount of sound just stops everything for like a really long way.
Huh. Yeah.
Like there were people 30, 40 miles away who didn't get the memo, and they're like, "What's going on?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like super intense.
Earthshakes.
Earth
Dude, that
shakes,
is
exactly.
wild. It is wild how big those things actually are, and you see a little video and it's like,
Yeah.
pink.
Dude, I know, and it's just like it's like what
Well, it's just
250
like
tons or
it's
something.
like yeah, it's like Let me
So much
bail. You
steel.
just see this 33 fucking huge top of the line rocket engines just moving in sync, like balancing
I
a
know,
stick
I
as
know.
it's like
And they didn't go
trying to
out
get
either. They didn't
close
lose any.
trying to get close to a tower. And there's
It kind of falls when you see when you see the long shot. Exactly what you're saying. It's like it floats in and then it kind of hovers and then it kind of like folds itself over. It's like whoa. That
Whoa.
looks like a stick in the wind, but it's a fucking 250-ton like
Yeah.
vessel of like hydrogen and methane. Wah!
Right. Just
And
fucking
they'll figure it
firing
out on
off.
their they've made it so boring on their I can't even I when Elon took over X there's a lot of really 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 good things that happened, but one of the really bad things that happened is you can't follow SpaceX anymore for live
It's
launches.
it's harder
It's
to follow
flip a
SpaceX
coin and blow
nowadays.
into the wind because it's like wow there's no video predictability on Twitter, and that's a fucking shame that they can't just copy a start time and it's like come on. But anyway, there's the YouTube game is so much better in that
Yeah,
regard.
for
It
that,
was so much
yeah.
easier to be like because they kept a perfect schedule. You could basically just have a it's like starts in 1 hour and then you're just like it's in another window or whatever, and then you're
Right.
like you're like oh look there's a launch, and then you could keep up with them. Can't keep up with any of these
It's
things,
just
man.
like all of a sudden it's live and you have to find that fucking
To be
entity.
online in that
Yeah.
moment, like for it
Yeah.
to for no, for just like here it is, here's your notification. It's like no one knew this was probably one of the most planned events in their lives for the last 2 years.
Right, for real. Yeah, no, they've definitely been working towards this for
They
months.
knew the moment it was gonna get cool.
Yeah.
That was like an easy miss to like not be able to tell people that in advance. It's like it's so crazy. But dude, when Trump was coming into town, so I was in this crazy community, and I was like, dude, all you have to do is re-impound all the cars that have no license. They're like, just there's no plates. They're just gonna collect them and put them in some field somewhere.
Yeah, and start giving them away to taxpayers.
Yeah, totally. Just like sell them on auction them off, auction them off, auction them off,
Right.
auction them off. It'd be great. I think that would be a great revenue stream for whatever they need there. But it was just like I could just feel these poor people, and that's the thing you get in Line in the Sand documentary is the reason you don't want illegal migration for many reasons, but one of the biggest reasons you don't want it is you don't want to create a population of people that don't have a legal recourse for people hurting them and taking advantage of them,
Yeah.
like through wages or through a million bad things that can happen to people when you're in a lawless area. And when you come to America illegally, that's lawless, and that's you do not want to put your family in that position.
Yeah, you don't
That's
want to be in that
crazy.
genre
Oh,
of civilization. Yeah.
no, 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 no. But we should definitely get a good guest program going, and we should definitely let people who are here to work declare it, and then I don't know, collectively bargain or something. I don't know. They shouldn't be without any rights to be. You don't want people in your rights to not society to not have rights. That's called you're causing. It's a petri dish for human evil.
Yeah, you just if you snapshot like the construction industry, it's very easy to see how
Yeah,
underpaid labor
yeah,
fucks up the market for craftsmen. It's
yeah,
just
totally. Because you.
straight. I can get it for half the price done by these illegals, or I could pay twice as much and have to wait for somebody else, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
or these guys are ready to go, you know, and they're gonna do it for a fraction of the cost. It's it fucks the economics for
Yeah.
those markets.
Well,
Yeah.
the first step in making sure that a labor market is fair and that people are treated equally under the law, you know, is to make sure that you know who's in it, and you can't do that if it's a black market. And so it's yeah, there's so many troubles around the immigration thing. But anyway, it's wild to watch it down in Aurora and check it out. When Trump was coming in, you could like I was whenever I drive around, I'm usually praying the rosary because I'm like going through all these crazy places. I'm like praying for all these people, and I could feel the presidential plane coming in, and I could feel the people praying for him.
Mm.
And there was a lot of people praying for him, like a lot of really wild, fun praying people, like a lot of disco, I would say fireworksy kind of prayers, like real end of the world kind of figure kind of stuff, and but not
Dude,
end of the
the
world, but
arguments
yeah,
that people, well, the people
yeah.
in the, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what bubble you're talking to. It's just like it's not, yeah. But yeah, the Elon's view on it, on he's like, democracy is over, unless it goes
Right, 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 right.
Trump, it's like.
He's not wrong. I can
It's
see his
I
entire viewpoint.
I could
I get
see
it.
that point,
Especially when you
especially
consider
with the
the
censorship
censorship industrial
regime,
complex.
and
That's
how
right.
much 4 more years of that,
My
and four
God.
more years of
My God.
importing illegal people in,
Oh,
and
oh, the
their
pain that we will
economics
go
and
through. Exactly.
or what do you call it, like
Worldview
well, it's not
and their
worldview.
policy.
It's like geopolitical stance
Sure,
is
sure.
I mean, they're just like not smart enough. Like the puppets
Yeah.
need to. You can't have puppets in those roles because you have to.
There's no
Those people.
accountability.
Well, not even that. There's no accountability. You need. That's actually a position of power that requires nuance in wielding it, and
Yeah.
that requires engagement. And a puppet isn't engaged in all the problems downstream of
Mm.
them. They're engaged in the things that people want upstream of them. You need to be focused that direction, not this direction. Because
It,
you're supposed to be tip of the spear, as the
it's
president.
so many things in an information war are designed to get people to give up and think their vote doesn't matter, or that they aren't a part of the thing. It's isolation, right?
Right.
It's not. They're blocking the right to assemble, like peacefully assemble in a certain way,
Right, they're
right?
messing
Like,
with that in a way that's
yeah,
hard to notice. Yeah. Well, it's
right.
not hard to notice if you're paying attention on aggregate, but if you're not paying attention enough,
You
then
have to.
it's
You have
you're
to.
super easy to get snowed. Yeah.
And the only way to unmanipulate that is to make your own network, to make your own connections to people, and make your own pipes between humans,
Right.
for whatever reason.
To
It.
discuss these
Yeah.
sensitive culture war topics and not just be downstream of the noise
And a
machine.
fucking NATO military grade AI that's like got your number from your transcript on this video. It's
Yeah.
like your IP is a valid target and is our hybrid warfare dominance model. It's like crack, 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 crack. These are munitions that are launched at you that are $1 trillion munitions, and whatever. It's like uh, that's what the Twitter files showed us, was that there were hundreds of thousands of Americans that were wrongfully censored for their political views in order to
Yeah.
sway an election. It's like, where's that in the equation? The massive tech finger on the weight on the scale.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
that's
How do we even know
crazy.
how heavy that finger is?
That Robert Epstein stuff with his Google detection network, where you install like a little extension in Chrome, and it watches live what you're being shown, and like what suggested videos happen after a video in YouTube, and they can, dude, whoever greenlit the Kamala campaign to spam my ass in my public Gmail, it made me want to stop using my public Gmail because I couldn't get the blue out of my inbox. It was just like, did you know there's this random Democrat in some really backwatery place that needs your help? And I'm like, care not. I've been a libertarian for years. It's
Yeah.
like but they zero read. So that there's this spam on both sides, but it's like, which side does it let through? It was like give me a break. I had to like block and report spam, and that dude, it was like the fight for your inbox from a tech giant. But whatever.
Well, it's crazy. Like
Free inbox, free inbox.
I had
Can't complain on free.
had one of the people who's running for one of the local commissioner seats in my city
Yeah. Yeah.
stop by. I think it was on Sunday morning, and she was talking about trying to do text message campaigns and whatnot, and how much they
They're
told her it was
illegal
gonna
in
cost.
Colorado now.
Interesting.
Good.
Well, well, me and my friends seem to only get texts for Camelot, and it's like once a day, you know,
You can't
and
block it enough. Yeah.
you can't block it enough yet.
You iOS guys, you iOS people in your village, they don't have the stuff that Android has. Like, dude, if people want to talk to me over my cell phone, they have to talk their way through my AI. It's crazy. They have to negotiate with it. And it's like it treats me like some sort of omnipotent being where it's just like if you're calling me, it'd be like, Peter wants to talk to you about this. What do you think? And I'm like, ask him this question because it suggests four. And I'm like asking, and then it's like it's talking to you rather than me. It's like I'm extracting information through a algorithm. There's
Yeah.
like synthesized voice.
Interesting.
It's so crazy. It's so
Yeah.
crazy. But
Yeah.
I always respect the people that make it through. They usually are like, what's on the other end of this? It's like,
Yeah. That's
but yeah,
interesting. Yeah. I
but
don't
but
understand this toolkit
totally.
or how
I
it
think
works.
I think that when Trump got the uh, the next level of protection, they said they were giving him the full level of protection or whatever for his
Yeah.
bodyguard detail for the Secret Service. I think it included psychic protection too. Like, you got to hear me out on this one. So one time I was
Okay.
okay. So one time I was praying for something. I forget what it was, and I was praying for this guy and his family. I forget how I got onto his trail or whatever, but I was loving light, and then he was on a submarine, and I saw him on the submarine, and I was praying for him on the submarine because I was like, it was just the pattern I was following with this.
Right.
And there was a person on the submarine in a special room, and they were aware that I was praying for this person. And they sort of like shielded the whole thing, and I was like, oops, my mistake. Pardon, pardon. And it was like no
Huh.
big deal, but it was like men who stare at goats level because if you were trying to find a nuclear sub under the water, being able to track the people psychically would be at least something you could tune
Interesting.
into. Yeah. So it was like
Yeah.
they were all I was like, "Oh, I guess you can't pray for these poor sea humans."
Well, their defense mechanism will at least knock out the vibes headed their direction.
Right. It didn't seem they didn't have any trouble with me, but they were also just like that's good, thanks.
I can feel you here. Yeah.
Like they got
Yeah.
just thank you and please move on. And then but with Trump coming into town and all these regular people praying for him, like making it their thing to pray for him, because there was a lot of it. I was like tuning my attention to Kamala Harris and the Harris Biden whole ticket, this whole thing,
Mhm.
and it was like it seemed like people had sort of wiped their ass psychically with the entire affair.
Yeah.
It was like so crazy how different this one was, like shining with light and like a lot of regular people wanting a lot of things to happen with this one, like so much energy. And then this one was like it was just like, oh my god, like this is what happens when you astroturf your candidate. There's
Right.
no
I
soul there.
Yeah,
There's no
it's I don't know. I would be surprised only because of bad the how bad Biden has looked over the past 4 years and how they just swapped Kamala in
they swap puppets on
and
us, dude.
swapped puppets on it,
On the
which
world. Who's in
which
charge right now?
when it comes
Jesus.
to the people campaigning against each other and the money that
And
goes into all that, that kind
yeah,
of matters. Um,
I
but
know.
on another level, it's just like I don't think she's she's embarrassing to watch. It's like cringe. It's like secondhand embarrassment to watch her in a
I
way.
never.
Like
I was trying to find something happy the other day, and I couldn't. I was just like, is it all Kamala Gaff videos? All of it?
right. Well, it's interesting. Did you see
She
Joe
doesn't give a
Rogan
she
posted
doesn't
today
give a
that
controversial.
they
She
were
doesn't give a non-controversial interaction. Like everything she says, it's like, can I just hear you where you say your thing?
yeah.
Without the speak. But go on. You're saying Joe Rogan?
Joe Rogan. Well, I saw like on the
They
Joe
were
Rogan
pushing that on all of
podcast
these channels. Yeah.
was talking about how they were talking about the Harris campaign about potentially doing an interview, which
It was
that would be
reported widely.
fascinating. Fascinating.
Oh God.
Ugh.
Look. As with everything Joe says, anything can get better with talking about it,
Right.
and sounds good. But
Yeah.
they also
Well,
said
just like
Trump was saying he might be on there too, and I was like, oh, that'd be great.
together,
Because,
both of them
well,
with
well,
Joe.
no, that's crazy. Like a debate,
That'd be
that would be
wild.
such a fist fight.
Yeah.
But Trump is like so smooth and so just like hanging out. He was on. Did you see him on the Flagrant
I
podcast?
did watch the flagrant one, yeah.
Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
hanging out. Like he just like taking it. He's like, I do no drugs. I do no smoking. I do
Right.
nothing. He's a total teetotaler.
Always told the kids none of it.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, seems to be working out great. It's
Yeah.
great. It's so nice. But so he just seems like I don't know. You can hang out with the Trump. Can you hang out with a Kamala? I don't know. What happens? I just think
Yeah,
of her as the Kamala bot.
what happens 20 minutes in? How does it feel 20 minutes in? How does it feel 45 and an hour and
Does Joe
30?
have questions he wants to ask her? Like, does he have? I mean, because her administration has been responsible for the worst of inflation, COVID booster
That's
jubilees,
the thing. It's like, yeah, let's see a conversation.
medical,
Let's see hold a
like manipulate the
conversation
whole
for
thing.
over an hour that goes that goes off of
Holy sh!
one arc, you know? Like it would just be what I don't see like she
I could
doesn't make
see.
content like that. You know, everyone they're all talking about how much she's been catching a lot of flack recently because on the live shows they've cut in pre-recorded stuff into
Yeah,
live.
she hasn't been live. She
Yeah,
hasn't
she
been
hasn't
live.
been live.
Yeah. And Joe
like
is like,
even in interviews,
yeah.
like not taking her first cuts of the responses and stuff like that, and
It's so weird that you get that level of editing between
right
you and your audience. I mean,
that
that's the whole
on what's
point in the age of
supposed to be
podcasting.
live
It's
TV.
like
Yeah,
exactly. It's got
yeah,
to be more. It's got to be more on the wire. For people to count because they know what it sounds like when you're not reading off a teleprompter when people are actually talking.
yeah.
And then and that feels a certain way because you can essentially enter into the stream of the whole thought process with people
Right.
and then join them in their story in a certain way. And then when you get the fucking talking points, it's like you're getting info ward like did you get the bullet points, did you get the
Yeah.
point? Oh, he's trying to yeah. It's like
It
god
doesn't have to
damn.
make sense. They're bullet points, you know.
They've driven people off so far from wanting to listen to them. Like it's so bad.
Yeah. Oh, that's
uh,
what makes the
Bot
stuff.
speak.
Well,
Yeah.
with the World Health Organization on a global front,
Ugh.
that censorship
All
push for
NATO
the next
stuff.
pandemic, they're trying
Allegedly.
to be able to censor podcasters and whatnot
I know.
in that.
Like I know.
And
Critical communications. Like
how
we've got to get our word out here. It's like are you an entire thing that was grown up around no censorship. Now you're going to like add a layer to it. It's like dude, I'm watching these people I half respect and then I'm like, "Oh yeah, but there's the MeUndies commercial." It's like even the commercialization of the thing is terrible enough.
yeah, it's like, dude, there's
The commercial interest. It's like, well, we got to be making the money. It's like, okay, but it's all yeah. No, it's a dynamic. But the dude, I was thinking that one of the marketing strategy for the Department of Awesomeness, Colorado local, is going to
okay.
be awesomeness badges. So anybody in the world can come in and get an awesomeness badge from us. And the way it works is that you do all the things on the list. Like, have you ever done a Boy Scout badge before?
Yeah. Well, not
Yeah,
a Boy Scout, but
but another badge,
the
area.
Christian, well, the Seventh Day Adventist equivalent, which was
Yeah,
they split it up. It's called
sure.
Adventurers when they're young, and Pathfinders when they're older. And it's more of boys and girls all
Nice,
the way
very
through.
nice.
It's not Boy
Yeah.
Scouts, Girl Scouts separate. Yeah.
Boy Scouts has integrated girls, and that's got to be for making for wild jamborees. But anyway, dude, it's
Whatever.
like
Feed them to the boys.
whatever,
Yeah.
whatever, whatever. Like, whose plan was this?
Yeah.
Equality. It's like
Yeah.
except in this point, dude. Do you know we don't want to know? Yeah, I was happy. Anyway, the when you finish a Boy Scout badge or like a Wonder Explorer badge or badges, it's like a set of like things you try to do, and sometimes there's options. You can kind of choose, but there will be around, personal and home security, around cybersecurity and these kinds of things.
Yeah.
So you can, in a fun way, clean up your life, like yourself into a password manager, get yourself in two-factor authentication for your key accounts. Make sure you have recovery turned on so that if you died, someone else would inherit your whatever, your electronic estate in a very basic way. And then, anyway, not hard to do, but those are the kinds of things that would make a great, excellent badge. And then if you get the badge, you can be awarded it electronically. And then when you do your first service with us and you show us your credentials, we will send you a badge. And then so you can actually have a tile-based badge that you
Nice.
can
Yeah.
you can add. But yeah, and then you can recommend people. I was thinking there's a real dynamic that's available for kind of guildsmen and women process, where
Yeah.
most people have somebody in their life that's on the edge of becoming an IT technician. Like they're their personal electron hustler or whatever. Like,
Right.
could you imagine that? Okay, so you don't want to talk to us, but we want to talk to little Timmy over there. So grab Timmy. Timmy's like 14 or something, Or
Yeah.
it's like, dude, do you know where all of your family's iPhones live? It's like, it's like,
Yeah.
do you know where the router is? And like Timmy can be hands for you as you like do services or whatever.
Right.
But then you could like leave Timmy in charge in a certain way. Be
Right.
like, dude, you got to talk to Timmy about the Wi-Fi password. He's the one who knows. And then
Yeah.
you can like
Yeah.
actually rotate it and like actually
Right.
make sure they have a good firewall and like a reasonable, not something you can be like hacked like Chinese soft Play-Doh.
Right. An
Yeah,
actual firewall. Keep Timmy
yeah,
from watching Pornhub.
dude. I think that is the number one question I got when I was in Geek Squad and I was doing in-home stuff is like, how do you have the conversation with kids? And I was like, here's the key. You don't have your kids have a different life than you have. I know that's really not the answer you're looking for, but that's the answer.
Yeah. Dude.
The
Nailed
actual
it.
answer. Right. The actual answer is create some time together with the family that's like formal time. And even if you can only get an hour a week, you still create it so that you have like, some process where everyone's voice gets heard and you solve your problems together, right? And so
Right.
you have something. And if you're and your kids will be instilled with the values they see demonstrated.
Right.
More will be caught than will be taught. And so what you want to do is be pitching your values during these formal times. Like if it's important to have everyone off their phones or whatever your standards are, you've got to like enforce them during these official times. And everybody knows that's the official time. That's when you don't fuck around. And then then it's less than that at other times. And in a formal time, you could actually be like, what do we think what do we think we're doing online? And like, what do you think, why is it would there be effects that we are not monitoring? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it depends on what level of freedom you want to give and what level of technological interface you want to put in because it's cat and mouse. You can always get around any door, but you can also make it damn easy to not stumble across stuff. However, biggest problem I found, you can't block Google. Like, there's no way to get around Google. Like, Google can just promote anything at once into your, it's like I was looking at these DNS services where you can essentially program your home router to a filtered DNS where it won't return, pornographic results or, a whole host of different things.
Right.
And you can like go to different levels on it and whatever. And get reports and things. But you don't necessarily want to create a panopticon surveillance state of your home.
Right.
Because it's like, are you the warden now, and everyone's your
Yeah,
psychic
who's
prisoner?
gonna be the
Like,
fucking warden? Yeah.
because then because then you're setting up rebellion. Much better to have a conversation, like of equal,
Right. Yeah.
it's not of equals, but it's of you want to make that a formal thing, and you want to get anyway. The key is you want to be talking to your kids. You don't want them to be in another world that you're not in.
Totally. And that's increasingly more difficult, especially can be for
Yeah,
teenagers with phones. Yeah. Because
exactly.
I know how I started, disconnecting from my family in that era of my life. But for
Well,
me, it
people
was
are
like
looking to
just
run away. They're
texting
looking to run
people,
away from their families and have their own
Yeah,
secret
they're
life.
trying to.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's built in.
There's plenty of dimensions these days to
Whole
scamper off
worlds.
to. Yeah.
And you got and they're not the real world. There's only one real world. There's only one real
Right.
world made out of the actual stuff of God. There's only
Yeah,
one
this is
real
like
world.
this is what that
It's all fake.
that the that documentary your sister is talking about, the
All light everywhere.
all light everywhere.
Yeah.
I think that tied into that movie somehow when you guys were talking about on your last one.
Like light as consciousness
Right. Oh yeah,
somehow.
you were saying sometime last week that you take a picture of something,
Yeah.
you have a whole collection of pictures, and you can build a world out of these pictures, but that's not this
That's not the
world. This
world.
isn't
That's
reality.
not where it came from. You
Yeah, you can
sampled. You
you
sampled.
can sample reality as you go through it, and then
Yeah,
live
yeah. Remix it.
nostalgically in this prism that you curate and make for
Yeah,
yourself,
yeah.
and how you
Yeah.
remember everything. And that's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
powerful. Yeah, it's very powerful
Totally.
to be able to do that. But also, you can warp your sense of the reality of things by pretending to be something you're not, or pretending to feel some way you didn't in these, and only capturing that, because then you know you didn't actually feel that way, and even though
You're
you made
always
this beautiful
expressing.
prism.
You're always
Yeah.
expressing when you're on a digital, when you're on any kind of digital media, like you're expressing. You're uh, picking a point of view, telling a story.
Yeah.
Tell a good
Gen-
story. Tell a good story. Tell a good dream. Dream a good dream. The okay, JPA update. I haven't listened to my full 17 minutes of my colonization class, but the psychedelic underground group that I'm on Signal went through like another layer of explosions where people were like losing their minds at each other, and I heard some of the craziest things I've ever read online and some of the most calming things I've ever read. And I also was reading some things that were like, well, I'm really glad that person got a chance to say that because it seemed like it was really intense for them to say it.
yeah.
there's like there's like there's a
Totally.
slow motion
There's
civil war going
you
on.
have to have these cathartic outlets for sure.
It's
There's
wild.
benefits in cathartic experience. I feel like that lots of religious experience is built off
Oh,
of bringing forward
the
cathar-
scapegoat.
catharsis. Yeah.
Placing your burdens on something else and then
Well,
expiating them.
this that anime that I started watching the other week.
Okay.
Assassination Classroom.
Oh,
Um,
right.
yeah,
So
they
crazy.
they talk about like explicitly that it's a big
Yeah.
like in the school.
Yeah.
So, Assassination Classroom is like the lowest. It's E class or something like that. So you have everybody. It's like the
Uh,
lowest tier of
the
student at the
behavioral, the rat
school.
pack of
Yeah,
the
of the
behavioral
school.
forfeits.
And essentially, the students gain so much confidence with this teacher that they start like shunning the other students, and they getting way better grades than ever before. And the te- and
This is
the
a weird Japanese fantasy.
principal of the
Great
school
grades.
is like, yeah, the principal of the school is like, we can't have the bottom tier
Be performing so well.
insurrecting over the other ones, because then it destroys its gradient and incentive structure for the other people to do well. The people on the bottom have to be doing bad, or
You got to promote people in
teaches.
the league. You got to
Yeah,
get your
he
league promotions getting going.
right before their like midterms or something, he adds like a whole section to the midterm that teaches a private class to all the students on the main campus, and includes that on the midterm. Doesn't even tell the other students, so they get fucked
Oh,
in the midterm over that stuff, and that holds them down in the first quarter of the school year or whatever. I haven't gone beyond that. I
it's
haven't gone beyond there.
shenanigans at the administrative level. Got
But
to
no,
take over the
it's
central office.
explicit because he talks to all of their
Uh,
teachers, and is explicitly telling them how it's like it's an
how
old
to inflate their
technology.
grades.
You have to have 15 to 20% on the bottom be the out group so you can compare to them, and if you don't have that, you fuck the whole other incentive structure. And it's like he's explicitly laying it out, this old technology, as I described, old
Yeah,
human technology that is this
that makes sense to
hierarchy
me.
system,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
that basic. It is that
Sure.
basic. It's in group. Most religions, well, Christian religion especially, and that's where I from, as the Gentiles, the Jews and the Gentiles. Jews obviously aren't Christian, but they
Yeah.
do have strong in-group, out-group, and a lot of the shame that has caused the decline of Christianity, I would say, is the weaponization of this in-group out-group shame, where it doesn't make sense in our culture anymore to be that like dogmatic about anything, and so it has driven
Mm.
just the generation. It's yeah, it's driven the newer generation off, and it's been doing it for a while. Because you have to have in order to have a place in that culture, in that society, you have to be, contributing something. And if everyone's if broad, um, the culture is telling you that everything in your lifestyle and your friend's lifestyle and everything has some problem. There's always going to be someone who has a problem with you. It's gonna be really hard for you to find your place where you belong in that, especially when you're a little rebellious as a young person, and yeah, trying to
Mm.
do things a little differently. It makes
Yeah.
total sense to me why religion's in decline when you think of it
Yeah.
in just terms of like how equality is so pushed in our society, and then
Yeah.
how much these religious cultures leverage the in-group out-group behavior to the degree that it actually destroys a higher order value that our society outside of religion holds, which
Mm.
is more of a nationalist um, value that is the equality of all humans. And
Yeah.
therefore, you can't just be like, tattoos bad, disgusting, or whatever.
Yeah.
You can't
Well,
just mark people and be arbitrarily mean to
we're
them.
status seeking monkeys, and so we put each other into status roles based on a whole host of different indicators, right? And so it's like, so we're like, all that's, I've heard our basic behavior broken down in such terms. This is we were talking about this with the Starbelly Sneetches. It's an old what's the name of that guy's Shell Silverstein? No. Who's the guy that does the um a fox in a box? Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
Dr. Seuss has the Starbelly Sneetches, and it describes the social dynamic exactly. When someone else who's a peer has a resource you don't have, you crave it, you want it, you got to have it, and then when you have it, you are there's got to be something else to fill the crave need
Right.
because you've actually, yeah, and so you end up going through this cycle over and over and over again, the hedonistic treadmill or whatever, and
Right.
and but for like status and for like how your fellow human hacking how your fellow humans see you essentially.
Right. Yeah.
And
It's interesting.
yeah,
I remember Casey Neistat talking about that because he like went hard and did those vloggings. He was one of the first vloggers
yeah,
and
yeah,
rode
totally,
this huge YouTube wave, and
yep,
then he started shifting around. His career started shifting, and he stopped doing daily vlogs. And at some point he reflected on that, and he did speak directly to his motive. That's like his drive to like run. He's a big runner, do all these
yeah,
crazy things. It was very he he had to replace that strive that got him there with other things once he had arrived, and him kind of integrating that. I remember
yeah,
noticing that was a yeah, you can be addicted to doing things that you can be addicted to anything, and just because you can lean into an obsession or an addiction doesn't mean, and it can be positive for you, doesn't mean it'll bring you joy,
yeah.
or once you attain that, you'll instantly be
You
able to
aren't
find
you,
joy.
you're
No, you're
yeah
actually
you're
attuned yourself to, you're a different machine.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're seeking.
Yeah.
You're in seeking mode, and seeking mode
Right.
start hard to stop. You have the finding mode.
You have
It's like
yeah, you have to do you just have to make a loop. I go out, I
choose your
seek.
target.
I go out, I seek, and then I
Yeah.
find, and then
Well,
I
knock and the
share,
door shall be answered,
and
right?
then
Knock.
I
It's a
go
very
out seeking
active.
again, and I find, and I share.
Exactly. It's very active. It's just very
Yeah.
active. The entire reliant when people are telling anybody being passive, like be passive, wait for others to make your thing good. It's like, are you trying to torture them?
Yeah.
It's like that's the opposite of how things get done.
Yeah. You need to be striving, but you also need to be able to relax in that you're putting
Mm.
in appropriate amount of effort, and that
Right, appropriate
that
goals,
it's
right? Goal
going
alignment,
somewhere.
or
It's
yeah,
going
yeah, yeah.
somewhere, and you
going
you
somewhere.
also have to trust the process. You can't just
Yeah. Well, and count your blessings as you go. Stay
willpower balls
grateful.
to the wall all the
Yeah.
time and
Yeah,
expect
yeah.
to be happy someday. No, you're not going to
Everything you
be.
have, everything you've got around you, everything you've got going on, it's all a result of seeds that you've planted and watered previously, good and bad, right? It's like all your garden, right? And so, um, dude, there's a whole thing about a garden where you're just walking around appreciating shit. Like
Right, well,
you
and that's
just
and by walking around appreciating stuff, spending time appreciating the
yes,
the things you are working on, that
yes,
actually helps
the
them
way
grow.
they grow.
Plants,
Yeah,
you more attention you give to plants, the better
totally,
they grow. Same with that.
thousand
Same
percent.
with any other pet, but plants are like
And
one of
human
those slow
relationships.
growing. Totally, yeah. Same with any other relationship with any other living being. Just plants are like
Yeah.
not on our dimension enough. You can actually see, like these plants are greener when we look at them, like they grow faster when we spend time in this room,
1,000%, dude. I love all your underwater plants are crazy. It's crazy how clear that water is. That's next
Yeah,
level. It's really
it's
good stuff,
it's coming
dude.
together.
Dude. I got three more. I got three more things, and then we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna roll into some
Yeah,
gaming.
I need some more
Uh,
water soon.
I think that listening to a lot of alien stuff, I think that aliens, because they can move in the timeline, are essentially sending out warnings from events. So since they can move around time and like imagine sending out a million drones in a million different time directions and then like gathering all the information AI style and like bringing it back to you so you could like sort of see it all as a big
Right.
model, like a
You can
map.
see like
When things happen,
yeah.
you can see
If you
when
be
stuff happens
outside of the timeline,
intelligence wise.
definitely you can
Yeah, yeah.
have all sorts of insights. Yeah.
Okay, now draw a little circle. Now take a big map over a lot of space and time and draw little circles around things you'd rather not have happen.
Yeah.
And then what you do is you like calculate all the inputs to it because you can move around and look at all of it and you can have micro observation and then find like your critical cutoff stream. And then introduce flashing lights
Yeah.
like around it, like buoy it, and so it doesn't happen. And this is what you see over and over again with nuclear and with when they're trying to shoot rockets with nuclear missiles into the atmosphere. They like everything turns off, and they're like, wait, what? Like can't get it done.
Yeah.
Whenever there've been close calls that like ships have showed up and been like turn everything off, turn everything on. Like you're not alone out here. Stop this. You're also like not in charge.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's like that's the message. Be like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
This is why you gotta watch Captive State with us. It's like it's gonna be Thursday night, man. We're gonna have a good time talking about Captive State.
Good. Yeah.
Yes.
I saw that one a while back, but
Yeah,
I don't know
totally.
if I'll have time between now and then.
It's like dragging people to some kind of textbook experience for them. It's a horrible ask. I'm forcing my family and my mom and my sister to watch it.
Captive State wasn't horrible, wasn't bad.
It's not
There
horrible,
was
but
another one. Where's that
you
one
gotta really love
where
it.
Where's that one where the guy has his like family over and then there's like a rowdy cop that shows up or something and tries to get people and tries to he's like in the house, they end up accidentally killing people and it's just like super stressful the whole time.
Outer range?
No.
Okay.
It was
About
one of
you got
the it was
falling into the ground one?
no, it was what
They
you gave
accidentally
it to
killed
me.
people.
No, 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 no. It was like a family. Like it was very much.
Okay, keep
It
going.
was like around a family holiday or something, and people were coming into town. Then and somebody had some. Oh man, you had this movie file. I
Yeah,
watched
man.
it
Yeah,
from
totally.
something you
I
you
presented you with.
handed it out at some
Is
point.
it called Coherence? And it's about the
No, it's not
asteroid
like
that
a
goes overhead.
sci-fi or
Okay.
any like
It's
external crisis outside of like overbearing government
the
and
the
operatives.
oath.
Like
The
no,
oath,
no.
where the agents break into his house, more or less, over the
Mm.
political reasons. Okay, keep going, keep
There's
going. I
some
want to find. We're
political
gonna find this
stuff.
one.
There's some
Okay,
political stuff. It was definitely
but it's
politically
a
charged.
family. They're
It's a
hanging
family
out.
He's like watching news and whatnot. And he's getting riled. He gets riled up for over different things, and then family comes over, and there's just kind of
Silver
drifts
Lining
into.
Playbook.
Fuck no.
Dude, I'm trying to pull this out here.
Yeah, dude. What is
Okay,
it?
10 Cloverfield Lane, the one that they're underground
No,
in
it's
the
not
underground.
like
These are all
sci-fi
good
or
sci-fi.
it's
There's
fairly
not sci-fi.
lower budget production
Okay,
too.
okay, okay.
It's not like some of those titles are higher quality entertainment for sure. A lot of
Keep
them.
going with your description of this one. We're gonna trace this one down out of the ethers, out of the very ethers themselves.
I'm trying to remember how it went. I
There was a
remember it being
family.
hard to get through.
God, what a make you
Because it was
sit
just
through.
so intense. It was just so intense and like let's
Huh.
see.
It was
Sometimes
a murder mystery kind of thing.
ChatGPT is great at finding this stuff.
A murder mystery. It was not Roadhouse. Family.
Where of Emily has an event where
A Quiet Place?
all get
No sci-fi, no
together,
aliens.
have
About Time is about a family,
conflict,
and they're all time travelers.
uh,
Paul GPT is doing great here. We're
in
just like
flames.
this movie list I'm giving you is
But
pretty good. Let's
social
put Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless
media.
Mind. I know that's not the one you mean, but we're like in this zone. Be Kind, Rewind. If you haven't seen that one in a while, there's the one to go get. In fact, I'm gonna write that one down as one you can definitely hit on. Be Kind, Rewind is next level. That's with Jack Black. He and his boys try to attack an electrical station, and they get electrocuted and magnetized. And then when they walk around the tapes, they demagnetize the tapes, so they can degauss them. So they have to go back and re-record like shortened versions using cardboard and paint of the movies. And so you get like cardboard paint Ghostbusters and everything. They just do Sicario, like they just The Godfather. They do everything. It's crazy.
It might
Be
be
Kind,
the Oath.
Rewind. The Oath is
Yeah.
definitely over the target. Yeah. Now The Oath is a fantastic movie for a bunch of reasons, but it shows you how you can get worked up, and it also shows you how they keep making this cut where they start on the front porch and it's the sound of a bow like like it's like dread, but it's fucking beautiful outside and the weather's great and no one's throwing anything at anybody.
Yeah, it's the Oath.
It captures what
Definitely.
what being in an info war feels like.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
and what it feels like to be the side effect of an info operation.
Info
Like, that's how
war
you feel.
with on the boots like European style enforcement on censorship, like where people, whatever, who's
People go to jail for tweets in Europe.
people go into jail for tweets like
That's fucked
not
up.
even inciting
why we fought that
violence,
war.
but expressing concerns about like fucking pedophiles in the community and shit like that. It's like
That's they're gaslighting.
you're putting the wrong people in jail, fucks.
Yeah, exactly. Most Americans
Fuck
are like,
your
let's
thin blue line.
let's go Law and Order. Let's go Law and Order. Trump. Somebody. Dude. I'm getting like filtered stuff, but like Crystal on Breaking Points is freaking out. She's like, Trump's saying there's gonna be like a day when cops can beat the shit out of people, and I was like,
Yeah, it's called
Like,
today.
You can't. He goes, and Sagar has to defend it. Sagar has to defend it. He's like, he's not gonna. I don't think you can legally let people do that, but you can indemnify them. You can make them so that they're not.
Wow.
You know what is completely unpopular and even somewhat even dangerous to bring up, but I think it's worth saying because it's a complete possibility to be thinking of. And this is not meant as an incitement at all. It's meant as a free thinking of ideas. But incentives, dude. Like when I was at this talk and they were like, listen, when you go back to the Civil War, a big part of it was won via the Navy, and out of every 100 ships sunk, 90 of them were sunk by privateers, and 10 of them were sunk by the U.S. Navy. So who really won the Civil War? It was privateers. And so to say you do not want to be in a group of people where other people might turn around and say something like, you can have their shit.
Yeah.
That's the Chinese Communist Revolution. You do not want to be around when this is going on. Like you don't want with a stroke of a pen. You'd be like, repel the invaders, and it'd just be like, oh my god, dude.
Yeah, it
like,
works the same way. It works. Biden say, come on in. over here,
They
and you have
they
people
did that
showing
to
up.
them. They did that to them. They should not have done that to them. They lured these people in, and we should respectfully um, reverse the process.
Yeah,
To whatever
yeah,
degree is, there seems to be there's a huge percentage of Americans that want that to happen, and it's just like that is a normal reaction to unsustained, unfiltered migration, especially of criminal element. That's like, who wants that in their neighborhood? Like, the entire way you think about your community changes overnight because someone else decided that was a good idea. Some CIA money through the Department of Homeland Security, like, thought it was a good idea to bust these people here. Like, that's crazy. Stop that. Like,
well, and they just choose
weaponization of
where they go
immigration.
to, so they choose which
They drop
communities
them
they
like
drop them into.
yeah,
Yeah,
swing states, and like it's crazy how they that people don't under people understand that this is happening, and that means a lot. It's
that
quite
does
something
mean
to
a
take
lot.
back. Yeah, there's watching that video or the Line in the Sand documentary, you really get a sense of how lost the whole project is. It's like, yeah, you want people to come in, the smart ones who can contribute, and the ones that are hardworking and dependable and not criminals.
Yeah,
Simple, simple. We'd love to have them. Simple.
totally.
Like,
Yeah.
like get them papers and get them protection so they can go to court if someone fucks them up.
Well, like fucking work it into small business tax incentives or something like that. You know,
There you go.
you figure out how to get a job before you come.
Figure out. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
figure it out.
There's
Because
got to
that's
be
the
some
incentive
orderly way of doing it. Yeah.
well, that's the thing. Lots of small business like virtual assistants and whatnot,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
very valuable
Sure.
to be able to hire people to do work that not pay them horribly, but definitely pay them more than you'd have to pay someone to do the same thing that, you know, went to the
Yeah.
college next to you, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think whenever there's value being exchanged, what you want is a market, and you want market parameters around it, because human greed will take over, and it will flourish in a black market, and it'll make it very bad. That's the reason why
Right.
we've shut these down historically. Like, you can't just have them run by criminal elements. You can't have it happen, and that's people. And it's called human trafficking if you don't get it right, and they're missing 350,000 kids in America or some shit. It's like, what? Who the hell slept on that shit? And then you're like, and then the Chinese immigrant is pulling up a video of like Biden saying exactly that. Come search the border. It's like, dear God. It's like, please, please, no, please put the puppets away. Let us have a human there who could go on a podcast. It's a podcast test. They got to be
Yeah,
able to do it.
podcast tests for presidents and
Yeah.
blue belt jujitsu tests for cops.
I love that. To get it, exactly. Make it really unfortunate to execute violence in public. Like that, make it unfortunate for you. I
Oh
like that
yeah.
a lot. Yeah. And to watch cannabis get the genie get put in the bottle in Colorado like well over the last now it's almost 10 years now. It's been really something to watch it happen responsibly, and like in a way that there's actually over 650, there's over, I don't know the last count, 450 dispensaries in Denver that are competing. And it's like it's crazy, the innovation. It's crazy how um, there's so many positives to it being legal and like guided by the state. Like the big one has to do with the amount of money that it makes for for the amount of that it raises. Like, you saw all cause crime reduced by 20% when it was legalized within a few months. And that was just off the cuff. People just relaxing more, less violent crime, less alcohol, so less violent crime. It's like 98% of all violent crime happens under the influence of alcohol. And so it's
Right.
like,
Well,
take
and
that out of the
less
system somehow,
stress
and
from
yeah,
the threat of
right.
the of of having the stuff and getting in trouble for it, especially if you're doing other things, you know.
Yeah. People on
So,
people are on like Twitter and stuff. They're just uninformed about when they're talking about weed like being like super negative. It's like, dude, my wife almost died from her ibuprofen usage.
right.
That shit they will sell over the counter without proper labeling and education, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
And if you take it incorrectly, can kill you. And that's the same for so many things. But cannabis ain't on that list.
Mhm. Yeah.
There's like it don't kill anyone ever, never, not one
Yeah.
time.
So wild.
It's nuts
Schedule
how
one.
not lethal it is. It's
Yeah.
and to compare it against aspirin, aspirin takes a fucking dirt nap every
Yeah,
time.
every
Like, every
time.
time. Aspirin, dude. Give the baby an aspirin. No, what you want is to give the baby a tincture.
Yeah.
you want a little THC goodness in that little baby.
Yeah.
Not
Little
saying that's a good
CBD.
idea. I'm just
No.
saying that, but they used to give it to babies and old people, and and balms and salves, and it works on the skin, and it's anti-inflammatory,
Yeah, it's
and
all
it's
about
very
dose with that stuff. And yeah,
yeah
small, tiny doses, definitely. I've seen people use it with their pets
yeah
in ways that are bad and in ways that are good. And I've watched people figure it out, and it's like they've fucked
yeah.
their dog on some of their edibles, where like the dog is
Oh no.
scared and
No, no,
like over
no.
there versus like
Experiencing other dimensions.
yeah, literally experiencing other dimensions, poor little bastard. But
Yo.
but then yeah, no, like it's like yeah, a couple milligrams actually will calm that sick dog out,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
should tell my mom to start feeding that to Tiberius. They have a Sheltie who's like,
Yeah.
um, and they have dabbled in this in the CBD stuff.
Mm.
Um, they're less hardcore about that these days, it seems like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that dog could really benefit because he's like just scared and anxious all the time. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with that dog.
Yeah. That some of
He's
them
like
have nervous disorders, or it's like
literally have like chronic bowel problems, from
yeah,
the
gluten
level
or
of like stress it holds. This little fucking dog
yo.
looks like
Do you
it's
ever
just
pray for
standing
your
there
animals?
chill.
Do you ever pray for your animals?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, not very consistently, and I probably haven't paid for Tiberius that much, but I
I'll
wonder
pray for
if, yeah,
Tiberius.
yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, I'm sure my mom
Dude,
does.
I
Her dog.
the animals are extremely sensitive to feelings, and so all you have to do is like bring your pet into your feeling space, and then bring a positive feeling into the feeling space, and like have them welded. So pet is positive,
Right. Yeah.
and then and that's prayer.
Just pump that out. Yeah.
Well,
Heart
I
rate it.
think also cleaning out pets, like cleaning out like their little energy bodies. They pick up every little thing that the neighbors dispense. When we're in a good cycle where we've got good hummingbirds out, good stellar jays, we've got the squirrels, the chipmunks. We're doing a great job on our porch of feeding some critters. Like
Mhm.
not ones we're not supposed to feed, just the ones we're supposed to feed. Doing a great job. They these guys, when it's all in balance, they are praying for us. They send out their little thank you so much for putting out these peanuts for me, and
Yeah,
it
dude.
literally
Talk about
forms
it.
a
You
little
were talking
barrier.
about
It's a
how
barrier between us and the world.
yeah, they also pump that
They're
that
absorbing the
little
negativity that
shield
could
around your
pretend. Yeah,
house.
if there's
Yeah.
any negativity, it gets absorbed in this field of life that is
Yeah,
extending
they
around
they
this
catch
the
it and
positive.
bounce it out for you.
They
Yeah.
transmute it. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
dude. And the coolest thing, I think, when I first visited your house, is
Yeah,
I saw that murder of crows you had, and I was like,
yeah.
dude, there's a whole murder of crows hanging out. And you're like, yeah, they follow me all the way down into Denver.
They do. They do. I've seen them. I've seen them in different places, and they're like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "You again?" And they're like, "Got a French fry?" they're like hanging out like a McDonald's parking lot. They're awesome. No, they're a set of crows, a family of crows, a murder of crows, several. They own the whole basin that is Evergreen. And you
Mhm.
can, from the time you come off of I-70 and enter the basin, there's this huge basin that goes over to Conifer and Bailey out on one side, and it's gigantic, and it goes back out to the back end of the national forest on the other, and it's this huge just airspace. It's just like this collection of air ever between these
Yeah,
mountains, and
these
it's
valleys.
enormous. Yeah, and
Yeah.
these crows own it, and they know everybody, and they know our feeders for sure. They know about black oil sunflower seeds, baby. They're they're big fans. They believe in it. They also love a good mealworm now and then.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
big fans, big fans. Dude, there was
Totally.
that study that came out that Russell Brand was promoting, which was a mixture of repurposed drugs, but ivermectin was the number one on the list, where they can't go out and do medical studies where people have cancer and take these things. But he was referencing a video that I watched the full copy of. We got a copy on our Signal, where it's of a woman. I forget. She's a doctor, and she's talking about how safe ivermectin is. The ivermectin is safer than a sugar pill. Not medical advice, but that she's like, the insulin spike you have from sugar and a placebo is actually more intense than a ivermectin. That ivermectin is produced by a being, and it's created as an external immune system. That's essentially like a Swiss Army knife of ways to knock out viruses and bacteria that you don't like. And so you're
Yeah.
fine, but their entire level of life is under
Yeah.
review. And so basically people who are rocking the ivermectin regularly are getting this incredible anti-cancer benefit in allegedly according to these studies the where she had anecdotal stories of people who had been sent home for hospice with stage 4 prostate cancer who were just like rocking like a reasonable dosage of ivermectin, and 6 weeks later they're like cancer free. Like, wait, what? It's like yeah, there is like more than 20% of cancers are created with viruses. Breast cancer, prostate cancer, ovarian cancer, apparently all virus driven. And so if you just take those off the board with ivermectin, there's just fewer things that can get you.
Yeah.
It's kind I
Interesting.
find it to
So
be
yeah, it's like
yeah, I
that
find
immune system for bacteria.
yeah, it's an
Yeah.
immune system that is when you take it, you essentially it's in your blood, and your inner environment where viruses or bacteria could live is now subject to ivermectin. Sheriff Ivermectin on the cause. Woohoo! We're gonna get out our hacksaw and turn your DNA into splices. Woo! Now you got protein. We're gonna digest it. It's like there's a fucking war going on down there, dude.
Totally. There's a war going on inside you. Yeah.
Uh,
Sometimes it pops up, you diarrhea everywhere, or
yeah,
or you puke, or you feel
totally.
like shit, or you get a headache, or
Exactly.
yeah. All the
Dude,
basics. That's a war. Those are the those. That's the surf
imbalance.
crashing on the shore of whatever's
Exactly.
going on inside.
Reminds me of that movie. What's the one where they go dreamy and they do the dream drugs and they go deeper in their thing? Inception.
Yeah.
You see, yeah, good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, two more items. We got 25 Twitch followers. Hello,
Oh,
Twitch
nice.
followers. And
Hello.
thank you, follower. Thank you so much. Blessings to you and your day.
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson accounted me.
Man,
I haven't
that's
watched
so
my,
bad.
I haven't listened to my 17-minute podcast, but then I'm gonna I want to crack through this colonization thing. I got off earlier with the signal thing, but that's where I'm at with it. It's really like eating your vegetables to listen to the 17 minutes, to actually go through it, to actually like pass the quizzes, to move through it. But I want to move through it because I want to be in a place where I could do that, but I'm also very open to sitting down, and you could do one with a couple guys and do like, you could just take a 3-hour tour twice and knock out a class, you know?
Yeah.
Just 3-hour tour. Just 3-hour tour. You're watching the video together. You're kicking it
Yeah.
out. Anyway, something to think about. I say we take a quick break, and I say when we come back we kick in on some games. What do you say?
Yeah, I say we do one or two, but
You got it.
yeah,
We're gonna
this
make
has
the
been a
switch.
great talk. We've done it.
Great talk.
We chatted, which is honestly I miss just
I know.
doing this.
Yeah,
Like
this
part
is
of
super
me's
fun.
like, fuck it, we don't have to play games every time.
No, I'm
But
with you.
since no one showed up, we can definitely do that this time.
Totally.
Or yeah, spend way more time talking if no one else shows up. That's
Here we go. I'm gonna switch to music. We'll be back. Dude, we only have a few months left of freedom before communism takes over.
Oh yeah.
This nice clean transition between the video and the thing. This is version 1. Version 1 has always been very stable. Here comes your invitation, sir. The version 1 has always been very stable and is like very predictable. Version 2 has janked up like 5 of our broadcasts. I've had to go back and fix.
Huh.
It's been a deep evil, and they're like, "You will enjoy version 2," and I'm like, "Version 2 has bugs. Don't put me on version 2." And they're like, "The kettle car is this way, sir." Like, no,
We need
no
more data
authoritarianism.
points. We
No.
like your data points.
Iterate more. Let me turn it off. Let me turn it off. Opt out. Opt out. All right. Anyway, first world problems.
Yeah, but poor problems to the fucking stack we're rocking here.
Yeah, man. No kidding. It's important. We have the engine humming in a certain frequency that is toot sweet and wonderful. We will be challenged by the new frequencies. We will try to run them in minimum mode so that, what's the right way to say it? Evil does not prevail. But it's just a reminder that everything's a splash. Everything is a momentary splash in time. All things change. The Buddha warned us thoroughly about this. Everything that you can imagine will change and change again.
Change again.
All the
Oh,
castles,
yeah.
all
You
the
know
cactuses,
Excavator
all the
Vlog?
fields. Yeah, man, totally.
He recently made a 30-40 minute video on YouTube
Nice.
talking about generational
Trauma?
generational fracture and cultural inertia. I believe that was the title of it.
Wow.
And
Get your gun ready.
ta-ta!
I gotta turn up my sound when I get a second.
Feel like, oh no, that's me. I'm shooting.
I'm
That's my
shooting.
sound.
Shoot the red things. He was always been like very shamanic in when I like the understanding of how energy moves in big groups like that and like the descriptions of it. He's made himself a student of that phenomena, and he has learned a whole bunch of things, man. It's a good follow, Chris, right?
I
Chris?
don't remember his first name. I was gonna ask.
Yeah, I think it's Chris. Dude, we got some serious murderers in our group here. This is nice. They're it's nice when you hang out with people who know how to do business.
Yeah.
We got some. We joined up a team that likes to get busy.
Let's hold him up here. If we can. I'm gonna die.
Exactly.
'Cause I've come down here then.
I'm getting the sweet reincarnate. Well, in any event, the world is our oyster. You can gather information, but at a certain point, information has to become action. And it's important. It doesn't have to be perfect activity. It just has to go in the right direction. So at a certain point, you draw a line in the sand. No more collecting data. We're just gonna go with the data we have.
Right.
We're gonna do it based on what we know now. We're gonna stop perseverating and we're gonna start acting.
Data
Yeah.
something.
You can be in and when you're swimming in a sea of data, oh, is it easy to think that maybe the most important thing is right around the corner? There is a limit to what can be collected. And it has to do with how much you need. How much input do you need before you pull the trigger? Start pulling the trigger, start pulling the trigger. Metaphorically.
Yep. Pitch fast.
But practice, it's literally practice. Whoa, this guy's pissed off. Han Solo's pissed off here. Wait till he's dead. You're gonna be super pissed off, Han Solo. You come into our abode.
On you in 3.
Nice. I'm moving into a nice position for reincarnations. Keep the door open. Keep the door open. We're making Ewok chow out here in the streets. We just turned that Ewok into a pile of dust. I watched him turn dustified. He went, baboosh, babushka. Here's the key. people will form bonds over human things much more easily than governments will. Governments need to be humbled and relax and take a back seat to just people interacting. Governments can play a role in making sure the interactions are safe for everybody and that they're, no one's making poison, that fraud is stopped and that kind of thing. But aside from that, the government shouldn't be a player in it, The government shouldn't be... We have to be extremely careful when we consider all the stuff that Eisenhower said about the military-industrial complex, but also about corporations. Just in general, that documentary, The Corporation, and the follow-up was like a corporation too. Just the entire thing that you can make a soulless entity that can essentially it can buy bullets and arm people with the knowledge of how to use guns. It's like it can be military.
Mm.
It typically is in the sense that organisms like single cell organisms create ivermectin, an external immune system. A corporation is gonna like defend itself like a living thing, and reward the people who. What is this guy doing? Tachnosis, you're in the wrong place, dude. We're getting raided. Where are you, dude? Where are we? Are we in the very back? What's going on? This guy's on Whipple.
Oh.
He's like a bot. Like he was just shaking. Like he was simulating movement, but he wasn't doing anything.
God, I got wrecked.
Me too. I also got wrecked. Well, this is fun. The last level on this is worth playing. I don't mind losing one or two more, and we're on the Vietnam simulator. That's okay. That's okay with me. But okay.
I know I can win over there. At least 4 out of 5, 80% of the time.
Yeah. Okay. So it's important when gathering all of the information that you have to recognize that you only have so much you can hold at one time.
Right.
So whatever research you've done, come up with a project. The way to really know something is to put it into action. Make a project, crystallize it, do it, and then you have something. You have a little bit more than you had before. You got a little bit more atoms solidified around a certain pattern. There's a sound and a rhythm, and it's playing your tune, the tune that you've set it to, right? It's important to not get stuck in one part of the production process and not complete. You got to finish. You got to ship. You gotta ship. You gotta get the most important stuff done.
Yeah. Prioritize. It's hard to do, man.
It is. But if you actually do the most important stuff each day, you'll have moved the needle. The needle might not be perfect, but it will have moved, and it would have been the right part of the needle.
Right.
Yeah. Boy, it takes discipline though.
Yep. Ow.
But that's life. That's like managing the life that you're given. You're given a life that you can do awesome stuff with. I'm gonna actually fall back. You can manage a life. I mean, it's just.
Ow.
Your life can just make a heck of a lot of sense. I'm in the safe zone. Okay, hybrid 1122. Let's shoot some fools.
I'm on A. I mean B.
Tachnosis. Nice. B is a good place to be. I'm on the top of the stairs.
Luke already here. Oh, Luke just murdered me.
I was killing heroes. We're definitely going to get a chance to play the Vietnam simulator.
Yeah.
I can feel it coming in the air.
Alright, we're going to have plenty of time on it, too.
We're going to get extra innings on the Vietnam simulator. Extra innings on the Vietnam simulator. Here you go, Luke. Wait for that to pop. Pank. Now you're concussed. Now you can be shot in the dick. You might not know that, but you do now. Oh, yeah, God, that was satisfying. He was ignoring my awesome grenade, which turns him into a concussed moron seeker. He can be. He doesn't have that front block when he's concussed.
It's right on that growth thermal imploder.
That's a flaw of his whole situation. Yoda didn't teach him those tricks. Ah, they got us. All right, Vietnam simulator is activating. Find your way to the Vietnam simulator. We will now proceed to shoot these humans for 7 and 1/4 minutes. And boy, is it going to be fun. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. We're going to make sure that they'll reincarnate. It's going to be great.
Lots of opportunity to.
Lots of opportunity to.
Iterations.
Did you ever want to really meet God? I can arrange it.
Yeah. Alright, incoming Yoda.
Incoming Yoda. Kill his support staff. Killing his support staff is as good as killing him. They can't. They need him. He needs them. They fight as one. Without the support staff, they won't go anywhere.
Yep.
Man, we got some Ewok spillage coming out of here. Left to right, left to right.
Come on.
These guys are getting downranged. Seriously,
Yeah,
they're just like they can't even.
How about you bunch up some more back there?
How about you bunch up some more back there? Bullet sponges. You guys are this crazy breed of bullet sponge. Seem to absorb the Leticus Maximus. Okay, left to right, left to right, left to right. Peel them off, peel them off. Dude, even if their dots above their heads aren't showing, you can still hit them. Left to right, left to right, left to right. I just dodged a shot from an Ewok. He had a poison dart with my name on it, man. I just randomly like pulled a Trump and like took 2 steps to the left and didn't get shot. Oh, we got Luke down there, and we got they got him bunching up. They got him bunching up. They need to. Oh, Yoda. Yoda just pounded us. All right, still on. Support staff dying. Support staff dying is good. Support staff dying is good. Keep him on the reincarnation treadmill. Support staff is softer than the hero. As long as the hero wants to stick back there, they kind of can. They can block. But here comes a concussion grenade. Prepare for concussed Luke, and he's concussed. He's down.
Nice.
All right. This is a freaking pinata factory they're throwing at us here. Left to right, left to right. This is the glory of this soul simulator. Somewhere in the universe there's a video game Hall of Fame, and this level is in it. It's known in lore, in song and lore.
Yeah.
They're like
Dude,
that,
we're about
man. To
halfway
be
done.
alive, to be alive when it was, to be alive when the servers were, 40. Now that we do everything by psychedelic telepathic communication layers, we're going to simulate a 40 millisecond lag time so that you can have the experience that people had in the 21st century of shooting and killing each other in the simulator. That's what they're telling the kids on the field tripping like 60-45. Like floating around the rings of Saturn.
This is real fucking death pit.
It's next level. I've been playing games a long time, and I've taken decades off, but man, this one goes down. This is, and we're 3 minutes. We got 3 minutes of this shit left.
I know.
It's
We had
nowhere
7
near
when we
done. It's
started.
like they got like 3 more waves we got to put down. And they had a pretty organized hero situation the last time we did this.
They were hanging
They
back.
they were hanging
survived
back.
longer
They got their shit together. It's almost like they had coordination.
if
They were like
had
they were
pushed-
they were
well, if
planning.
They had pushed all
Left to right,
of
left to right.
the-
Yeah, they got Chewbacca's left to right, left to right, left to right. Left to right just can make sure that we're all leaning into the same area, which makes our they die faster.
Yep.
It's all just they die faster. Versions of they die faster. Woo! Here comes some. Lando Calrissian takes the dirt nap, and he was the
Tried to
reincarnation
hide back
point.
there.
They have to. It's walk to work day for him. They're walking to work. That was a squad wipe right there. They got no one to reboot off of. They're losing their minds right now. There they come.
Good luck, guys.
Oh man, I saw a Wookiee go flying like he was spring loaded across the screen. That was awesome. Somebody threw something at him that had some kick. Dude, it is just a meat mashup in here, man. A meat storm, a meat tornado.
Speaking of, yeah, I got a meat delivery from Jake's Steaks.
That's awesome.
Jake from Steak Farm.
Nice.
This past week.
Steak farm.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's great.
Left to right, left to right. Foreground to background. We got 1 minute. They got 1.5 more.
They got
More-
one opportunity maybe to.
Yeah, they got reincarnation
push
humans
us.
though. They're one guy's hanging back and they're getting reincarnate. You can see him on radar, but you can't shoot him.
Yeah. Come on out, Wookie.
Come on out, Wookie. He's hanging around for the reincarnate. They got 33 seconds. They better make it real right now. Wow, that was a nice. They Thelma and Louise that shit. They just ran out and like took the dirt nap. Left to right. Here we go. Thin in the numbers. Thin in the numbers. This is their last reincarnate. Han Solo getting shot. Just shot in the head. Oh, they got a shield up back there. Well, there you have it. The victors
There
have
you
it.
have it.
There you have it. Very nice. Well, sir, dude, we were going for 2 hours previously.
Yeah.
This is an extremely long time. This is really
Good.
nice.
Got to go out on a win here.
We could totally go out on a win here. Well,
do it.
enjoy your grokking and see if you can get Grok to make you some images.
Gosh,
And
the weak link over here. Yeah, will do.
nice. I'm gonna turn this sucker off. And dude, we're gonna go out on some music. Have a freaking awesome week. It was so awesome to hang out. This was classic Curiosity Engine. This is good.
It was.
Very nice.
This is
Very nice.
This is what keeps us going.
Nice.
Okay.
All right. Well, dude, have a wonderful one, and I shall see you soon for Dude Core
See you soon.
tomorrow.
Dude core tomorrow.
Dude Core tomorrow. Holy shit, we gotta get some
Dude core.
Dude Core is Dude Core. There we go.
Peace.
Peace.